The big problem that this organization is seeking to solve is poverty. It's one person at a time, one family at a time.
The more education you have, the more healthier you are. The more education you have, the more likely you are able to have a home. The more education you have, the more likely your children are to be educated. There's a direct correlation between education and prosperity based on data.
You just let them sleep on the floor? When I got the scholarship money, I would use it for whether it was bills, clothes for her, shoes, or just kind of whatever the needs were at the time. It was always nice to have the check just coming at the right time. As a child, you always say, I want to be this, I want to be that, but my thing has always been a pediatrician. Well, now that I've graduated, it's kind of like, even though I'm still working, towards med school, I just know that with that degree, I'm guaranteed, a better position than I am in, like, for now or when I was in college. She knows a lot about mommy in school, so it's so funny because if we go to the doctor or something like that, she's always like, my mommy's going to be a doctor. She says, I want to be a doctor like my mommy. And then she knows about schoolwork. Like if I'm getting my schoolwork out, she'll get her little, school stuff out. And Mommy, I want to do my homework too and work on my letters. I got to work on my letters. So she definitely understands what I'm doing. I've always wanted to go to college. My parents were college graduates. I was like, I don't see Hazel stopping me. I kind of feel like she might help me, give me a little more determination. As far as the scholarship fund, it was a very big help to my financial state, and even like just the emotional part, like going through school, just feeling like you have other people there, and they would say, if you need anything, call me, text me. So just for more people to know about it and just go for it. And I think it'll kind of help, the positive aspect about it and just kind of help people keep pushing forward. So.
There's so many things about being a parent that are hard to describe in words, and because they're emotions, they're feelings, the things you get to experience on a day-to-day basis, when you get to see them grow and accomplish things that they didn't think they could, or when they overcome something, an obstacle that's in their way or something they felt was impossible. So I started looking to go back to school, and I knew I just lost my job, found the single parent scholarship, and it was the only one I was actually eligible for. And there were times for my family that scholarship bought groceries or bought gas so I could get to work, because we, like I said, we lived very much for the last 3 years, week to week. When I found out I was going to receive the scholarship, I was relieved, very much relieved. I really am conscientious of making the statement, don't just preach it to teach it. If I tell my kids this and that, but they watch me do something different, then my words are hollow. What I want to pass on to them is the idea that even if something doesn't go the way you thought it was, it changes mid-stroke. It doesn't mean it has to be the end. In order to juggle all the different responsibilities, school and work and raising children, mentally, it's really tough sometimes. I mean, there's a lot going on. You always have your stuff your kids need to get done, or things at their schools, and going to school and getting my education was a way to, in the little ways that we can, tip the balance in their favor a little bit.
I've always wanted to help people. I knew that when I was little, I wanted to do something to help someone else. And then when I chose to go back to school, I was like, I wasn't sure if I could do it, but I was like, okay, I just prayed and prayed. And I knew that the human service degree would allow me to help people. But then I was like, great, it'll be even better because it allowed me to focus it on children. After having Justin and then I had Brianna and all the struggles that Justin was going through, I wanted to make sure my children were on the right path. Once they were well enough that they didn't need that attention and everything was going good, that I could go back to school. One of the things that have been hard is on Tuesday evenings, I had to go all the way to West Plains for class. So that meant that I might throw something in the crock pot so when she got home from school, she could eat. I was at school and Miss Tiffany, she was part of the committee at the time. And she said, I just want to let you know, you've been chosen to receive it. And here I am crying in her office, and she's like, but Rosie, it's a good thing, you know? First thing I did was called my son. And he cried on the phone, and he was like, I'm proud of you. He said, you know what, Mom? You make me want to be a better person, and you make me want to do things. He said, and if you can do it, so can I.
We divorced in 2015, and I took a little while to kind of regroup. I decided that I wanted to get back in the workforce, and with doing that, I realized that I wasn't equipped at that point to even start a job to even be able to financially support my children. I have 4 boys. I'm returning to school after being a stay-at-home mom for 13 years. I had a lot of anxiety when I decided to go back to school, but I knew that to be able to provide for my children and to also prove that I'd always wanted to graduate from college. I just didn't know what I wanted to do in my younger years. I have a 23-year-old that is in the Air Force. I have a 12-year-old, Cody, and I have Garrett that is 9 years old. And then I have a 11-year-old, Jackson. He passed away 6 years ago. Once he passed away, for a while I just lost myself. I felt like I had lost my meaning in life. After he passed, I wanted to do something to kind of honor his legacy, and I felt like that God was leading me to try to help other people. I was able to realize that I could go back to school even at my age. I could also help prove to my children to never give up on your dreams, that you're never too old to accomplish what you want to in life.
The more education we can get our single parents, it changes the trajectory of that family. It changes the trajectory of that family's future.
It takes so much stress off of me knowing that I have that additional funds at my disposal.
Children who have one parent who has a college education have a much higher rate of going to college and succeeding in college themselves.
I think that's what just really gets me, is the joy and the light you see in their face, that somebody believes in them and is willing to help them achieve their goals.
Single-parent families are beautiful, positive, loving, legitimate families.
If you're a mom or a dad and you're considering going back to school and you're not quite sure, take that leap.
You can do it if you are really wanting to graduate college. Don't let anything stop you. Just keep pushing and just remember that goal that you're shooting for, because it might seem long in the beginning, but like when it's over, you're gonna be like, that went so fast.
I want to help that next parent. That next parent who may be doubting that they can't financially do it. If I can do it, and I know they can.
She's doing what she's always wanted to do.
They have a vision, and we're helping to fulfill that vision. And that just, it's a form of compensation that's, you know,